Hey everybody out there, Chris here, and welcome to another Dark Avengers comic book review. One night after doing last episode, which was 2 weeks ago's comics. You're welcome back, Mike. We are now officially in the second week of June. Today is Tuesday. Well, actually it's 12 a.m. It's Wednesday, but beside the point, it's Tuesday going into Wednesday. The comic books for this week are already being shipped out, and with this review I'm back on track, even though it's a couple of days late.
And it's the first day of summer.
And yeah, today's the first day, official first day of summer. Happy summer, everybody. So the comic books we will be reviewing in this episode were released on June 13th. 13 is my lucky number. 2012. There are some drops due to the fact that I told you guys there will be a couple of cutbacks, a couple of setbacks for at least a month or two. So I have those actually up front, and then we'll get into the comic books that are sticking around. First off, Mega Man issue 14 came out this week. Unfortunately, with all the cuts and stuff, I was telling you guys that I'll probably end up dropping Sonic and Mega Man for a little while because they're more along the lines of guilty pleasures that I can do without, unlike Garfield and Popeye, which are guilty pleasures that I actually rather keep. Mega Man's really good and all, but since I just started the series, I guess I could skip. I'm going to be skipping out on this story arc, and I'll come back in a couple of months when the next story arc starts up and give Mega Man a shot later on, but it did come out this week. Another book that I really, I just didn't get into too much was The Massive. It's a really popular book. It got really high reviews. It was really, it got 5 stars across the board on all the review sites. It's not my type of comic book. The world is ended, and it's about people who are surviving on a boat, and they're looking for more survivors and stuff like that. It's, once again, not exactly something that caught my eye, so I decided to let the book go.
It's like a yellowish green color.
Well, that's not all the pages, Michael. There's some other...
I understand, but I'm just saying it's kind of a little bit...
Explains how the world ends and everything like that. Originally I was getting this because I thought it was going to be like chasing after like giant monsters or something, like the massive monsters, stuff like that, like, or massive animals, but turns out the ship's name is the Massive. It just didn't hold me. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys are enjoying this book. I just couldn't get into it. I'm into a lot of books right now, so it takes a lot to impress me. Let's leave it at that. Like Planetoid issue 1. This, however, did interest me, and I want to come back for the next issue. You find out that this character, you don't get his name until towards the end of the book, well, it starts off with him and his shuttle, and his shuttle is badly damaged, and he has to crash land on a planet. And the first planet he comes across that is inhabitable, he crashes down on it. He has no idea where he is, and it's just about him surviving the planet for a bit. This is where he gets attacked by a giant worm in the planet.
The artwork's good, though.
Artwork is really good. He ends up getting saved towards the end by a man. You find out that the main character's name is, oh god, how do you pronounce it? Silas, S-I-L-A-S. And the guy, and he's explaining how he wants to try to escape the planet, and the guy says you can do anything except one thing. There is no leaving this planet. To be continued. So technically, like, the planet's alive, I believe. But it's really good, and I'm definitely coming back for the next issue. I mean, I may not have fell in love with The Massive, however, I did fall in love with Planetoid. So I'm going to be coming around for the next issue of Planetoid. If the series starts to flatline, I'll probably end up dropping that too, but it's good enough that I'll be definitely checking that out. New story arc in this book. So for those of you who have been sending me messages about Transformers, More Than Meets the Eyes is still going on. I believe a new story arc is going to be happening there soon. But in Robots in Disguise, issue 6, we get the next story arc. And oh my god, Robots in Disguise just brought itself even with More Than Meets the Eyes. It's got Optimus Prime is back. Optimus
Wow,
Prime's
really?
back. The artwork has changed.
Well, you knew he was gonna come back sooner or later.
And oh my god, it's good to see Optimus. I love Optimus. Optimus Prime is my... I mean, who reads comic books doesn't like Optimus Prime? And it's all about something that Shockwave did in the past, and Optimus Prime, Wheelie, and... oh, well, what's his name? Hardhead, he says it here. Yeah, Hardhead show up talking about another character whose name is Jaius, who's completely crazy, works for the Decepticons, wants to destroy the Autobots. His creation gets free thanks to Shockwave. Shockwave was a student, and this is, oh god, what's his name?
He looks familiar.
Monstructor. It's another constructor transformer, meaning kind of like, oh god, the construction transformers, the one that all transform into the big, huge Decepticon transformer. It's like 5 transformers in one, and they composite into the monster.
So technically, he could become any of the 5 transformers he wants.
Mm-hmm. Bludgeon shows up to save Jaius and take Monstructor. They escape, and now it's up to Optimus Prime to stop them, because he knows that Rodimus isn't dead, by the way. They mentioned that Rodimus died. He's like, I don't think so. I don't think Rodimus is dead. I think he'll be back. I think he's just fine. But since he's gone and Bumblebee's busy with Cybertron, you guys, we have to deal with this, and it's good to be back, and I have no problem with that. So let's go. I finally have a purpose. I enjoy my duties, and it's good to have Optimus back. Not the cover I wanted. I wanted cover A, but Midtown is doing a thing now where you have you pick the regular cover, and if there are 2 covers, it's randomly picked for you. I don't know why they don't allow you to pick your cover anymore, but now they pick the cover for you. They just say...
why?
I have no idea. When I bought this, it said regular cover. They gave me the price, and then they said randomly picked 1 of 2 covers.
Well, that's unfair.
Tell me about it. I wasn't too happy about that, but I got the comic. Covers really aren't as big a deal. If they do that with TMNT, I'm going to get pissed off.
Well, as long as the storyline is good, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Speaking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the reprints are continuing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 2, the introduction of the Mousers, Stockman, and that's basically the whole issue is about Stockman and the Mousers. Loved it. It's good to see the Turtles colorized. They're going to be doing this throughout the entire old series from what I heard. It's just good to see the Turtles in color, like the classics return in color. I've already read all this in the Ultimate volumes, but it's always good to see it in a different light, or in a different color, so to speak. So I'm enjoying these colorized versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I would highly recommend you guys check them out. I love the Turtles. This is where it all began, guys. This is where it all began, and Kevin Eastman has been spot on with the new series, and he was amazing in the first series. He's still amazing. 20 plus years later, he's still amazing. And we're going into the big 2 now. I unfortunately missed out on Before Watchmen, Minutemen #1. That's coming next week. It's going to be in the batch for next week. But I did get Silk Specter, Silk Specter, issue 1 of 4. And it's all about Silk Specter and how her mother is training her to become her up-and-coming, so to speak. And she doesn't want to be bothered with the training. She just wants to lead a normal life. And the mother's still like, you know, you have to pick up the mantle. And her mother's known as the slutty kind of superhero who sleeps around with other superheroes. It's kind of the whole deciding factor that that officially makes Laurie end up running away from home. And that's kind of where it leaves you off. And then there's the continuing Curse of the Crimson Corsair, Part 2. Part 1 was in Minutemen #1. So I'll be getting that next week. So there's going to be a dual Before Watchmen review next week. I like that they're putting it on the special kind of cover paper, the what's this called? The glossy paper. The artwork is really good. The story is pretty interesting. Once again, I did not think I'd be buying the Before Watchmen. I was actually against buying it because even Alan Moore said it's not meant to have a prequel. There was nothing left to talk about. But this is taking on an entity all itself, so it's doing pretty good for its own entity. Best pages I need. Great artwork. It's Laurie before she became the Silk Spectre. And it looks really good. And it's going pretty well. It's going to be 3 more issues. We'll see what goes on. But I would highly recommend you guys check this issue out. It was really good. Before Watchmen is a lot better than I think any of us, reviewers, thought it would be. Yep. Okay, now we're going into the Bat titles. We have 2 Bat titles actually this week. First one, not involving the Court of Owls. It's going back to its regular stories. Batman and Robin issue 10. War of the Robins. It's basically Tim Drake versus Damian throughout this whole thing. Damian is out to prove that he is the best Robin out of all the Robins, and Tim Drake needs to realize that. And then towards the middle of the book, I love how he got all the Robins together, including the Red Hood, and said, I'm going to get each and every one of you at some point, and I'm going to take a memento, and I'm going to hang it in my room, and it's to prove that I'm the best Robin to myself, to Batman, and to you. And Bruce actually, in the very beginning of the book, tries to do a portrait, a family portrait, to try to get them, you know, everybody to be happy and get along and enjoy each other. But of course that doesn't work, because Tim and Damian still have that friction. All the while there's somebody somewhere else called, I forget how you pronounce his name, so I need to see it, Terminus, who is getting people together to take out Batman because Batman's caused pain to all the people that he's working with or he's getting together. Love the artwork, Nightwing versus Red Hood there.
Yeah, I also like how he said in the beginning it's the War of the Robins.
Oh yeah, I have a feeling in the next part there's going to be more of that. I like Red Robin versus Damian Robin in this panel. It was a really interesting fight. In the end, though, it kind of was a stalemate, so to speak. Because Red Robin kind of admits that he had the thought that he wanted to kill, but he didn't. And he's like, is that what all you wanted to hear, Damon? He's like, yeah. He's like, why? What do you want from me? It's like, it's time you accept who I am. And he's like, which is, or what I am. And he's like, which is a Wayne and a Robin. And Red Robin just disappears. He just takes off on his bike, and that's it. So he's just not willing to accept it yet. So that was Batman and Robin. I am enjoying Batman and Robin. I'm sorry, it's really good. I'm looking forward to the next part. I'm only getting like 2 Batman books right now. I have a feeling I'll be dropping The Dark Knight really, really soon. So out of the 2 books, this one's really good. And this one is the talk of DC Comics this week. Batman issue 10. The Court of Owls, it turns out there's a big twist. I don't want to give it away. But by now, everybody's heard that the person behind everything, it turns out that Lincoln March isn't really Lincoln March. He's really, and this is a huge spoiler, so if you guys didn't know this, I would fast forward through everything until you see me put down Batman, starting now. It turns out Lincoln March is Thomas Wayne Jr., also known as Batman's younger brother. Or, wow. Yeah. So, and for those of you who think that Scott Snyder just made this up now, it's not true. They did explore the fact that Batman had a younger brother back in the Silver Age days, so this isn't brand spanking new. Just the fact that he's a Talon is brand spanking new. And of course the second story I don't give a crap about. Nobody really does. It's just a reason for DC to up the price by $1. Greg Capullo's artwork is second to none, amazing. It's just amazing how the whole thing twisted around and how Thomas Wayne Jr. just like screwed the Court of Owls, so to speak. And the next issue is Brother versus Brother. The big conclusion to the Court of Owls. And it looks like it's going to be good. And that's all I have to say. However, it was a very good book. I enjoyed it emphatically, really great. But I've got to take my hats off to the last DC comic book for this week. Green Lantern issue 10 is where I take my hat off. Hal Jordan tries to find Nostromo and tell him you got to bring the Indigo Tribe Lantern back just because. Oh God. Abensor is dead. It doesn't mean that all hope is lost. I was given the ring along with the responsibility, so maybe it's now up to me to save the world and to stop the Guardians. And all the while, Black Hand is no longer influenced by the Indigo Ring, and he's running off. He wants to get back to Earth, and he doesn't want to be controlled by the Indigo Ring again. Hal Jordan's fighting the now out of control Indigos, and it turns out that Indigo 1 actually now feels sympathy for what she's done, and the problem is Nostromo can't bring the Lantern back together because he needs a spark, and it turns out that Iroquois, who is Indigo 1, has that spark. Brilliant artwork all around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course the Indigo Lantern goes back up. Black Hand ends up killing himself, and something happens that I did not expect. The return of a certain ring, which I'm not going to mention, but we haven't seen that ring. I will spoil this much. We haven't seen that ring since Blackest Night.
Wow.
I'm not going to give away the ending picture. And of course, Sinestro goes back under the control of the Indigo Ring, and Hal's like, you got to let him go. We need him. I need him to come with me. And she's like, fine, but just tell me one thing. Do you believe Sinestro is capable of becoming a hero again? And all Hal Jordan says is, I want to believe it. Do I believe it? I don't know. And it leaves off with an epic...
That's a good, awesome
cliffhanger. It's an epic cliffhanger that I'm not going to give away, but you guys really need to read it. You guys really need to read this. Green Lantern has been really good. I mean, maybe I wasn't so happy about Hal Jordan losing his ring and Sinestro taking over for a bit, but Green Lantern's been spot on, and this is a really good story arc. I would highly recommend you guys be checking out at least just Green Lantern. Green Lantern Corps is 50-50, and Green Lantern New Guardians is also but this book is just spot on. I would highly recommend this book out of all the Green Lantern books. Okay, now we're going into Marvel, which we got a lot of books. First off, I will not be picking up the next issue of the Captain America team-ups. This is the last book I'm getting. Captain America and Hawkeye, issue 632, ended the Hawkeye story arc. It was predictable. It was, in my opinion, boring, and the artwork, to boot, was not exactly enjoyable. So, to save myself a bit of money, I'm actually going to be dropping the Captain America team-up books. I have one team-up book in that, and that's good enough for me. Avenging Spider-Man is...
The artwork's a little bit okay.
Artwork's okay, but it's not like anything...
No, it's not like that.
So the artwork's okay and all, but not something to brag about. I've decided to just drop it because it's going to be Iron Man, then the .1 is Namor, and then after that I believe is Black Widow. It's just, no, it's just too many.
Like
it's Cap team-ups. This is basically the Cap team-ups book, and I'm really enjoying Captain America, period. And to pay an extra $2.99 for another Cap book, I'm not willing to do that at this time. And they're doubling up most of Cap's books now, so to save myself a bit of money, I'm probably going to abstain from getting the Cap team-ups from now on. Avengers Assemble issue 4. I think after this story arc, I'm going to be done with Avengers Assemble also. It takes place outside of the Marvel U, but still inside the Marvel U. All the characters are up to date from what's going on in the Marvel Universe. However, it's its own entity. Thanos is on Earth. He's working with the Zodiac to bring together a machine, and it's up to the Avengers to stop him. Thanos takes over the Hulk. It's the Avengers versus the Hulk throughout most of it. They want to find out where Thanos is. They find out. And in the end, this picture's been everywhere, so it's not a huge spoiler. The Guardians of the Galaxy show up.
What?
Yeah,
like where did they come from?
Nowhere. They just appeared.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to end up dropping this book also after the first story arc's done. I wanted to hang on to it for a bit, at least until the first story arc was done, but This book was actually, and Marvel admitted, this book was released just because to promote the Avengers movie a bit. Has all the Avengers from the Avengers movie in here and nobody else. It's out of continuity. It's really got nothing to do with anything except Thanos, and we all know Thanos is probably going to be in the next Avengers movie, so...
That's the ultimate ending of what it showed in the theater.
Yeah, so to be honest, it's not something you need, to be quite honest. It's just an extra book. Deadpool issue 56. Deadpool goes to Taskmaster to try to teach him how to be Deadpool again. And, of course, Taskmaster screws Deadpool at the earliest chance he could. The artwork's really good, though. Trapster finds out that Deadpool can't heal anymore. Like, he doesn't have a healing factor anymore, and he shows up at the very end of the book. And things don't look good, because at the beginning of the book, Deadpool was still coming out of the big fight that happened in the last issue, and yeah, he's pinkyless, let's put it that way. So, I'm enjoying Deadpool a lot as well. The artwork's really, really good. The predictions are going that everybody's saying by issue 60, Deadpool's going to have his what do you call it, healing factor back. I think it's not going to be until at least issue 70. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't think it's going to happen until issue 70 maybe, because they're going to want to drag this out for a bit. And issue 70 is another 10 months from now. 10, 13, 14 months from now. A year from now. A year and 2 months from now. I think they're going to wait till about issue 70. I think they're going to wait till issue 70 before they give Deadpool back his healing factor. If they give Deadpool back his healing factor at all. But I'm really enjoying Deadpool. I would highly recommend it. Avengers issue 27 is also in space. We're going back into the space problems. The Protector turned on the Avengers in space for the Kree, and then towards the middle of the book, he turns on the Kree to save the Avengers. So the Avengers are pissed off at him and fight him because they're pissed off he betrayed them, and they leave him and they tell him don't ever come back to Earth. And now the Kree Empire is after him because he betrayed them, and we don't know what's going to happen.
So since he betrayed both sides, they're both after him.
No, he betrayed the Avengers. Yeah, so the Avengers told him to stay off of Earth and stay away from them. Right. And he betrayed the Kree army, so now he is an enemy to the Kree army, and he escapes.
Okay, so that's why he's...
That's it. He just escapes from the Kree army, and now he's on the run.
Alright.
So, next issue involves the Red Hulk. So, I guess the whole space thing, where we have no idea what's going on in space, is almost done. There's still the whole Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel thing that happened in space, which is completely opposite of this. So once that's done, please God, make it be this month. We won't have to deal with the Avengers in space anymore, and we can just focus on what's going on Earth, because the Phoenix Force is now on Earth, and in 5 of the 8 X-Men. So, speaking of Captain America, the good stuff, the good Cap book, Captain America issue 13, now with free digital download code, just like Avengers. Anything that's $3.99 and over has the free download code. Cap is on the look for Agent. I'm very bad with names. I'm sorry. He's on the lookout for. First of all, he wants to find out who Scourge is, and he wants. I forgot his first name, but wait. Henry Girick. He's on the look. He's trying to find Henry Girick. It turns out that Henry Girick, we go a little bit more in depth with D-Man, who's the new Scourge, and it turns out that Henry Girick is controlling him with a device. So it's possible that D-Man is not in control of his own actions, even though he is the new Scourge. Henry Girick gets captured by Cap, and Cap actually finds out who the new Scourge. Well, Dum Dum Dugan finds out who the new Scourge is, just as Cap and Scourge are about to meet. And the artwork's really good. I want to give some artwork. I forgot the artwork. That's what I was going through the pages for. Really great artwork. Really enjoyable. I'm enjoying this Captain America book. It's the only Captain America book I'm enjoying out of the two, so I'm going to be holding on to this for a very long time. I would highly recommend this. It's really good. Witness Protection, New Scourge. You'd only have to go 2 or 3 issues back to catch up on this story arc. Definitely check it out. Alright, next up is going to be a duel between me and Michael, because we both read this. The Avengers Versus X-Men versus issue number 3 of 6.
With the AR and the freeze.
And there's AR in this book. I called it. I called it. I told you back in issue 2 that first issue was both Avengers 1. Second issue, Avengers X-Men. I told you that in this issue what was going to happen. Both X-Men.
Right.
It was predictable. Here you go. You could go ahead and review it. I found it. I'm just skimming this book, to be honest. I buy it more for Mike than for me. I'm not really too into the whole matchup.
It just shows who's going to be facing each other on the cover. The Thing versus Colossus and Black Widow versus Magic. I have to admit, the Thing and Colossus match was really intense, and it was awesome. And in the end, it shows the victory, which was Colossus from the X-Men. I tell you, it looks good without the helmet, though. Colossus.
I don't like when he's bald. When he gets
when he's bald, yeah.
But, and then it's Magic versus Black Widow,
Yeah.
and you use the AR to see what they're saying in their different language.
They go to another dimension, in the underworld, so to say. Then they go back to space, and it shows...
Yeah, well, we know the X-Men won.
Magic, the victory. I'm just showing really artwork and all that. But yeah, it was I mean, I didn't like that the X-Men won, but just to respect the tie match, I would say it's good. Can't wait to see the next issue of who's going to go against who and see whether the Avengers or X-Men will face each other. But really,
we're at the halfway point.
The only thing that really interests me in the fight was really the Thing versus Colossus.
Yeah, the Black Widow Magic one really just didn't...
It was just more talk, and there were
more
different
use
languages.
of AR.
Yeah.
More use of the AR.
I mean, it was
Where are we
good,
at?
30 seconds.
Okay, guys, so that's it for this part. If you enjoyed this part really quick, since I have the extra time, there's a subscribe button at the top of this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this video. Because there's many more to come for many more years. Show YouTube you like this video by giving it a favorite, because we don't do thumbs up and down, and comments. We love them all. Like something, dislike something, questions. Troll comments will be deleted and then forgotten about a second later. So, see you guys in the next part. We'll conclude off Marvel and conclude the entire comic book review episode. So, see you guys in the next part.